Next up, we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Taila Santos. This was a fun fight with a lot of like, oh my God, is that happening right now? Big takedowns from Santos. And I think the story of this fight was the takedowns didn't score heavily in the judges' eyes. I'm the first to say it. If I take you down and I do absolutely nothing and you are punching me in the face the entire time, I think the score should go towards the person doing the damage because it's a fist fight. We're looking to do damage in a fight, right? That's always the goal in a fist fight. Now, I think the story here is, at what point does my control outweigh your strikes from a grappling standpoint? I know at the end of the day, the main thing we're scoring is damage. Okay. But the grappling, you being on your back, me threatening with chokes, it has to count for something. But how much should that count for? I look at the first round, and I think Talia might have had her down for like a minute, maybe a minute 30. Okay, the striking in the first round was relatively even. The most definitive position was the back take. But with the back take, Santos probably got punched in the face 13 times. I think I counted 13 or 15 while having the back control. Shevchenko grabbing the wrist with her right hand, my right, with her right hand, extending the arm, taking her other hand, punching behind her head, punching and catching Santos clean with some decent shots. Those might not seem like much, but when you're like whipping it, boom, 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 boom. Those are big shots. They start to add up. And I know because I've been in that position before in fights. I've been in that position in training. And I know when someone has your wrist, it makes things very, very difficult for you to really attack and threaten with a submission, even though the person is still in danger. Now, if the bell doesn't ring, that person's on their back for God knows how long until the cops come and save you. That's the difference. But being that this is mixed martial arts, there are rounds, there's time limits. You have to do what you got to do within the time limit. Otherwise, the fight resets and it's back on the feet. So the first round, I thought it was Santos. But when I went back and watched it again, I'm like, okay, close striking on the feet. She gets a big takedown, but it wasn't like a takedown that slammed her on her head or anything like that. Okay, maybe she's in a dominant position, but maybe Valentina with the damage from being controlled and the strikes, I think she outlanded Santos just by a small margin. Maybe that gives her the round. Okay, I can see that. Now the second round, I felt like she almost had 2.5 minutes of riding time for Santos. I felt like Santos had to have gotten that second round. And then the third round, I felt like Santos won this third round as well. And then the fifth round, we know what happened in the fifth round. Valentina went back to the old Valentina, or the vintage Valentina. Why am I calling her old Valentina? The vintage Valentina that we know. Tries to get you in a crucifix, takes you down dominant on top, outstriking you in the feet. Those fast inside leg kicks, catching her with the check hook. And I think even in the first round, the most significant strike that I remember was that check hook that Valentina landed on Santos when she was pushing forward in like the first like 30 seconds of the fight in round one. Now, round 5, we know Valentina dominated. Now, round 4, that's where I think it's kind of the coin flip, because round 1 is a coin flip, then round 4 is a coin flip. Round 5, we know who won. Round 2, I think we know who won, Santos. And then I think round 3. So 2, 3, and 4 were the rounds that were the closest. But I thought, in my opinion, after watching again, I thought Santos definitely won round 3. I thought round 2, you could make the argument kind of similar to round 1, that she won round 2 as well for Santos. And I thought round 4, Santos did pretty much the same thing, threatening the back, getting the takedown, even strikes on the feet. I don't know. I'm not a judge. So again, it comes down to clarity. It's so subjective that people can watch. 10, 100 people can watch. Even the refs, not the refs, the color commentators are watching. Obviously, they're calling the fight. They're not watching the score of the fight, but they're looking at it and they're thinking, I can see this round going towards Santos. And I was agreeing. So now again, with the clarity, it's like we need to know a definitive thing that we can say, okay, I made a layup or I made a shot within the 3-point arc. That is 2 points no matter what. There is no discrepancy there. I need to know if I land this jab, how much does this score in regards to you landing a cross? But what if I land a stiff jab versus your pushing cross that was just a stinger, but you weren't sitting down on a cross? Now, for us, when we know we hit somebody with a cross, that's supposed to be a much more impactful punch. But if I hit you with a stiff jab, boom, right in the nose, right in the eye, which one was more impactful versus the arm punch of a cross that was just a quick snap? It didn't really it wasn't like a sit down, like a 1, 2. I didn't sit down on it like that versus the stiff jab that lands flush and maybe right on the bridge of the nose and breaks your nose. We just need to know what is actually scoring. So if I know if I score a certain amount of points on the feet, then we hits the ground. I know if I got a takedown, I got X amount of control time. How much is that worth in comparison to a close striking exchange or striking exchanges on the feet? And I think that's what's really the difference that we need to kind of figure out as an MMA community, from the rules, the scoring criteria, to the judges, to the sanctioning bodies. We need to all come together and figure out what is what to really make this a little bit more black and white. Because if you have 100 people watching a fight and all 100 people have different interpretations, that's a problem. Because it might not be the criteria. It might just be what you think is more valuable in your eyes. And when you have that problem, if I tend to score striking more heavily because I'm not well-versed in grappling, I might not think what Taila Santos is doing is important or meaningful, like the striking exchanges that are really, really close, and I can't really tell who outlanded who in that round. So something has to give. We need to have some type of common ground, and I hate talking about this over and over and over, but it is what it is, man. Like, this is going to forever be a part of the game that's going to drive me and everybody else nuts out there. That's just fact. Either way, the Queen remains champion. Clash of heads, I think, in that 4th round. Ooh, that was nasty. And it might have even been the 3rd. Either way, it was nasty. And I just saw that Santos is going to need surgery to fix a broken orbital bone. Very, very unfortunate. I can only imagine what she's going through. Probably thinking, oh, I got robbed. Not robbed. It was a close fight. Probably thinking that she definitely won the fight. Didn't get it. Walks away with a nice trophy and having to get a surgery on her orbital bone. And coming up short in a very, very close fight. Now, I think if they fought again, I think Valentina makes the adjustments because that's just what she does. I feel like she's never the same fighter every single time she steps in there. And I think Santos coming in there brave, not like overly respecting the champion, and coming in there already defeated. She gave us a good title opportunity between these two, and split decision. Fight could have went either way. 48-47 was the way I had it for Santos. And again, the rounds were muddied, but I thought the grappling, having a minute or so, 2.5 minutes in strike closing rounds on the feet, I felt like it gave the round, it erred on the side of Santos. And I thought the most dominant round was the 5th round for Valentina Shevchenko, showing that she is the freaking champ for a reason. Great fight, man. It's just a really crappy outcome for having to get a broken orbital bone for a clash of heads. And the clash of heads happened again later on in that fight, not too long after that. So, sucks.